And it becomes bound, the oxygen, dissolved oxygen in the water becomes bound by the hydrogen atoms in it. And therefore, what results from that is firstly a healthy water, the regeneration of the water itself, the regeneration of life. But and the oxygen is passive, but once you get over a certain point, then oxygen becomes aggressive. And instead of being bound by the hydrogen, the oxygen binds the hydrogen. And it's when it gets to that point that disease and pathogenic bacteria start to evolve. So if oxygen as the male force, so to speak, is uppermost, then associated with that is the destruction associated with over-maleness, or the predominance of male. On the other hand, if it's the other way around and oxygen is passive, then the femaleness is predominating. And of course it's not interesting for women to have war and strife and everything else like that, because nothing happens. They are the bearers of the future. And we have got to arrive, in my view, at a world where it is largely governed by women. I mean, men shouldn't be thrown out the door, they have a value as well. But they shouldn't lead, because if we look back in history, when men have led, then there has only been destruction. Very few cases has there been anything really beneficial for humanity. And in terms of oxygen and this particular table, then or pressure expansion, gravity, darkness, positive energy, and egoism, they're all on this side, you know. And when they get they predominate, then all the other finer things, really, the things which integrate, are all thrown out or become destroyed. In order to understand the mathematics of that a bit more easily, so that you can see how that actually works, this is a rectangular hyperbola. And so if we have the string length, which is the quantitative aspect here, we'll talk about quantity and quality, it makes it easier, and the blue is the quality, then if I have a square here which has a quantitative aspect of 1 and a qualitative aspect of 1, so in a sense I've got 1 times 1, which is 1 squared, okay, which is what that is. Now if I reduce the quantity to a half, then automatically the quality is double. So I still have 1 squared, I still have a rectangle with the area of 1, so to speak. Or if I reduce the quantity to a third, then the quality is 3 times. On the other hand, we can flip it the other way, and I reduce the quality to a half, then I've got double the quantity. And so it's a very, very simple math, and it actually represents the relationship between quantity and quality, or radius and angular velocity, string length and pitch. It's all actually based on music. Walter Schauberger called the system the tonal order of nature. And this is the very simplest diagram, and it's really combined with one spiral diagram. This is all you ever need to explain it. It's that simple, and the answer is always 1. So it's really easy. I wish I'd known this when I was learning math. But with these energies, again, the formative power of these energies, we can see this in the pine cone, where we have a certain symmetry, but it's what I call a balanced imbalance, because here we have 5 spirals descending and 8 spirals ascending. The 5 are male because the uneven numbers are associated with maleness, because a man can't be divided, whereas female numbers are even because they can be divided into mother plus offspring. So there's a division, there's a possible division here. Now, so here again, even in the pine cone, we see that there are 2 energies which are interacting. You've got the female energy and the male energy. And where these 2 energies cross, where they cross each other, where they negate each other, where the male and female come together, that's where the seed is. That's where all the seeds are formed. All the seeds are under the places where these 2 things intersect. So that within the length of the pine cone, so to speak, the male energies, if we are looking at it from the point of view of the sun, they are high frequency, they're coming down, so they rotate much more frequently over what you might call the pine cone wavelength, whereas the female energies only go, in this instance, once. So in order for life to be created, the male energies have to slow down, and the female energies have to speed up, so to speak. So the male has to awaken the female energies and bring them up to a certain energy level. Then the exchange takes place and life is created. And so many forms in nature, like the pine cone, are based on the so-called Fibonacci series, all of the proportions of which can be found in the pentagon. So that the proportions of the five proportion is 1 to 1.618033988. And so this, if the red is 1, represents 1, then the green here, B, represents 0.618. I'll just keep it short. Or if this is the red, then the green is the same. So the whole of the pentagon is loaded, as it were, with Fibonacci proportions of the golden section. And if you transfer this into terms of the balance of life, because you see, life cannot occur if everything's the same, if it's static. There has to be a state of balance which is quite labile, or that is sort of unstable. Now, here we see, using the same 5 proportions, that a weight of 1.618 having a certain distance away from this central pivot, which is actually 0.618, and another weight of 1 with a distance of 1 away from this pivot, then actually are in a state of balance because of the forces, the resolution of the forces. And when they both, you take them both together, then they have a value of 2.618, which is actually 1.618 squared. It's a most amazing number, this. So you have this dynamic balance, and this is necessary. This is the position between the extremes and the mean, and it's always in a state of adjustment, constant readjustment, because at every moment something is slightly different. So you have to adjust all the time. So what appears to us, for instance, to be a state of rest is actually an extremely high state of energy. I suppose a way that you could explain it is if you take a guitar string and you twang it, then firstly it moves from one side to the other. But as it comes to rest, as it were, then the movement comes faster and faster until finally it stops. But you don't know whether in fact it's not going even faster and faster when it apparently is still. You follow